Hello the channel, welcome back everyone. Bonjour, as they say in France. I hope everybody's well, had a good weekend. Turned out, or is turning out to be a reasonably good weekend for myself as well. So a quick recap on that and then we'll have a look ahead to midweek. We'll do the draw for the Ely Mariba card tomorrow night, the rewards video, and we'll have a look ahead just now obviously to Celtic and the other stuff that's ongoing for midweek. So, in terms of what's happening, some pretty good results, which is not so bad. The hot streaks obviously all sort of restarted. That's probably not the best summary to go down. So, go down this way. We've got these helpful wee tools now, which is good. Just need to get used to all the different settings on them. But if it works, yeah, I want to go to Jupiter. It's not working. Yeah, it's working now. So, yeah, podium looks on Jupiter Super Rare. So, yeah, this was a bit of a sort of throwaway team actually. Just been opted out a second, so that's a bit frustrating, but obviously Opta still to come. Bertocchini as well cost the win, so big chance missed. Didn't really do much, which is to be expected in a game like that, obviously, and then Parfait Guillagon's just been opted down. But $500 plus the 34% boost would be pretty good. Carrot Sass absolutely smashed it. He's been excellent, so can't complain about that at all. Didn't hit the 380 in terms of limited, so Genk conceded, and also Kronbrugge got an error hit to go as well. So there we go. And then some other good stuff to have a look at. We'll look at the main headline just now, which is in under 23. Once things go down. To be fair, I do have a lot of lineups, so see why that takes a bit of time to load up. So yeah, U23, obviously it's played mainly for fun, but so sitting in the star position just now, Simshire, brilliant, 96. Franklin Yoju with 2 goals. Dango Uatara's coming a bit of a dark horse at the moment. A wee bit of bad luck as well. Polster conceded in the 93rd minute, so he was on for an 80 odds, otherwise this would already be won. And then Aaron Zentner as well, he had scored, he was on for like 90, and Wolfsburg conceded in the 94th minute or something as well, so just kind of seems like maybe it's not to be, but it does look as if worst case scenario it's going to be a tier 1 U23 now, barring Opta. So yeah, one guy's got Mario Dargeles tonight, so what can you do? Anyways, it's time to look ahead. So we've got Championship starting again, and I think it's first prize is Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich tickets, which is really good. So I think we'll probably have a go at that. I mean, Celtic are playing midweek, which is quite good. So yeah, definitely want to have a go at that. We've got Premier League opened, got Challenger opened, and the usual Champion U23 and All-Star as well. I've done the Celtic lineups, so we can have a look at that also. So what I'm going to start with is obviously the overall team fixtures, and we'll just cover absolutely everything for midweek. So if anybody's new to the channel, this is Spreadsheet by Egalit Sorare Probabilities. I do have the link in the channel bio if you want to contact them for a free trial as well. As a paid service, but something I'm using every game week at the moment. So there we are, Celtic right at the top. 3.2 expected team goals, clean sheet percentage 55. Must admit, under Martin O'Neill, Celtic have been back on form, particularly domestically, but a great result against Feyenoord away from home as well, which was brilliant. We'll go through the whole preview and then we'll come back to special Celtic focus at the end. Might even actually start picking some EPL lineups and everything as well. But yeah, best fixture and challenger is Celtic. I'm going to filter that down actually because it's quite a restricted challenger week. So let's have a look just at challenger and see what the different contenders are. So there we go. Celtic against Dundee. We mentioned Hearts against Kilmarnock. 2 expected team goals and 50% clean sheet percentage. So that's a pretty good fixture for Hearts at home. I mean, they haven't been firing. 1 win in 5. It's quite poor. Obviously, feeling the pressure a bit in terms of being up there at the top of the table. Celtic effectively, if win the game in hand, are now top. And then Celtic Hearts this weekend as well. Sturm Graz against Tyrrell. It's a sneaky one coming in there as well if you've got some Sturm Graz players. Rangers against Dundee United. I think that's a away from home at Tannadice as well. Rangers drawn with Falkirk at the weekend, so pretty disappointing. Not the best fixture, if I'm honest, really. So 36% clean sheet percentage. 1.75 expected team goals. Rangers have been scoring goals, but there we go. Could turn out well. Aberdeen's against St Mirren. Both good teams, to be honest. St Mirren are in the cup final in December against Celtic, so can be pretty difficult to play against. And Falkirk against Motherwell. Motherwell might be sort of outside us here. I mean, Motherwell are in really good form, playing some really good stuff under the current manager. So I think probably a good time to have a look at the Celtic lineup actually since we've got that up, and then we'll have a look at the English Premier League and we'll have a look at the All-Star fixtures. So Celtic's team, what Nancy's still not been not been confirmed as coming yet, Wilfred Nancy, so delays in paperwork and everything. So Kasper Schmeichel, pretty nailed on. Martin O'Neill doesn't really tend to tinker too much for the sake of it. Sometimes he does make changes, but he doesn't do it just for the sake of it. Kieran Tierney, I think, will come back in. So that actually started the last game. It was pretty good, actually. You could well have Cesar actually starting, so obviously a bit of risk there, but he would just come back from a hamstring injury, didn't see out the game, so I'd imagine Tierney's had his rest now. Scales, touchwood, probably does need a rest at some point, but he's not going to get it at the moment, right? Centre half, and Celtic don't really have many centre halves at the moment. Trusty downgraded him slightly, had a wee kick at the end. Just, I think he'll be okay. Looked all right. Kobe Donovan come off at half time, and Anthony Ralston come on. To be honest, Ralston looked terrible, so I would definitely avoid that position. Now I've said that, he'll likely do 100, but there we go. He's not really playing well at the moment, Tony Ralston. McGregor and Engels, I think, I just don't really see any changes in there. Engels has been terrific, actually. Really sort of reborn under Martin O'Neill. Team's playing slightly different style. It's not as much tippy-tappy stuff, more sort of the style that he likes, playing sort of longer passes, etc. Hatate, this controversial one with Negren. Everybody always messes with, why is Negren not starting? Well, Hatate's been really good in the 10, and also he's really good at leading the press. So you could see Negren playing in right wing. McCown started the last couple of games there, so that's an interesting solution out there. Negren doesn't really have pace, but I don't think really McCown does either. So yeah, I'm going to be using Negren. Personally, like your worst case scenario is going to come on. I think he might well come in rotation. I thought he might have come in actually against Hibs on rotation. Maeda's been playing through the middle, been really good. And Yang has been excellent, so I think Tenecte's lost his place just now. And I think it's fair to say probably Negren's lost his place also at the moment. So let's have a look at the Premier League as well, because obviously we've got a card of fixtures in the EPL. Built up quite a lot of limited and everything there. We've got a couple of guys in terms of super rare and, very few rares. So it's something I'd like to get into a wee bit more, but obviously it's quite an expensive place to play as well. So yeah, it's nice to see some English Premier League games midweek, so that'll be fun. Go for the streets, etc. there as well. Man United against West Ham. So yeah, I mean, I think West Ham have been pretty poor. Even Liverpool's beaten them recently. They were a really bad run. So 2.16 expected team goals, 40% clean sheet percentage. Lamens is a weird one. He's putting up really poor scores at the moment, but I don't think he's facing that many shots. Obviously, Man United are still conceding goals, so I'm sure his scores will improve a lot. Liverpool against Sunderland, again, so it's a bit of a tricky one. I mean, Sunderland have been pretty good. I think better than people expected they would be, but Liverpool really buoyed by that 2-0 win. I think that will maybe get the monkey off their back a wee bit from the point of view of, maybe playing in their mind, the run of results. They've had the difficulties with Diogo Jota, etc., passing away, which is terrible. It looks as if maybe affecting them psychologically. Salah, been really quite poor, unusual for him not to play at all at the weekend, but I'm sure he'll be back in amongst it soon. Arsenal against Brentford, yeah, so Brentford have been a bit of a surprise package this season. They've been pretty decent, to be honest. Arsenal getting the draw against Chelsea. You'd have thought playing against 10 men they would have done better, but I think that's still a pretty good result for them. Man City against Fulham. Fulham will really be buoyed by that result against Tottenham. Man City are a wee bit hit or miss. I think they're doing pretty well overall. Obviously, they're still winning games, but yeah, I mean, picking the lineup and everything's pretty difficult. Newcastle against Spurs could be an interesting one. I mean, Newcastle, actually, weirdly, I don't know why Pope's been dropped. I mean, like, but I can see why he's been dropped, but also I think the first spells this season, Newcastle have been pretty tight, so maybe a bit on the harsh side there as well, but there we go. Chelsea against Leeds. Leeds again are relatively dangerous, I think. Crystal Palace against Burnley, so that's a really interesting one. I mean, Palace are pretty strong, particularly at the back. Play with that back three. They've got Munoz, etc. there, who's quite dangerous. So got quite a good team structure overall. We've got Brighton against Aston Villa. Brighton are sort of funny this season. I think they're actually going along okay. But with these midweek games and everything, you see a lot of rotation, and Brighton have got a lot of talent in the squad, so sometimes calling the lineup's not that easy as well. And then you've got Bournemouth against Everton, so that's down the lower reaches of things. But yeah, I mean, Bournemouth very capable, obviously. Everton were going pretty well for a while there, but again, Pickford, a bottom and getting her led to goal. And then we've got Nottingham Forest against Wolves, and that's probably a better fixture than it looks in terms of the expected team goals, etc. Because I think Forest are starting to make a wee bit of a resurgence. So Arsenal with the best clean sheet percentage, followed by Liverpool, funnily enough. It's a weird one because I don't think they've been that good at the back this season, Liverpool. And then Crystal Palace against Burnley is probably one to target for clean sheets as well. So let's have a look at All-Star, and then we might even actually start doing some selections as well. So All-Star, we've already mentioned Celtic, Manchester United are up there. Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. So that's going to be a fun one. So that again, that's going to fall into Champ or All-Star this midweek. So La Liga's not opened. Personally, I think that La Liga should be opened if you get a couple of games, but maybe that's not the way Sorare do it. So it's all been mapped out in terms of the streaks and the like, so I do understand that. But you can sit out as well, so if you've got a Atletico Bilbao stack or whatever, they don't have a game, then you're allowed to sit out. So yeah, it really should be open, I think. But Real Madrid against Athletic Club got there. Don't know why I mentioned them as a bad example. Should just say Sevilla or something. Santos are playing, so Neymar, although he's always shown up as injured, I think he is actually injured, but he still managed to do 100 at the weekend. So there we go. If you got a Neymar or you want to take a bit of a risk on picking up a Neymar, I mean, I think their season's nearly finished. And then if he does stay with Santos, which he might not, but if he does stay with Santos, then they play some other stuff, but the actual league doesn't start again for a couple of months. So could be a reasonable shout. And I think, as I said earlier, Motherwell could be an outside shout. They're actually going pretty well from an SO5 perspective at the moment. Good fixture against Falkirk. Nothing else majorly standing out. So I'm going to have a look at my own players actually. So just give you an idea of the different, obviously, features you can use on Sorare probabilities. So the good thing about this is now just pulled out all of my own players, right? This isn't just everybody in the game week. If you want to do that, you can actually go into the player database and do that. But just gives me an idea before I'm selecting my lineup. So is there no real surprise? Celtic up there, Kasper Schmeichel with the highest projection, high clean sheet percentage, really high win percentage as well. Swallows right up there as well, so projected sort of similar amount of AA. So could be an interesting one midweek. Could be Celtic against Hearts. Rangers, I'd say maybe slightly better under Danny Rowe, but results have not been amazing. But SO5 wise, I think starting to maybe improve a wee bit. Senny Lamans actually, there with a reasonable projection. I think it just depends whether actually make some saves. Munoz, I mentioned earlier, Sarachi's on as a hamstring injury. I think this pulled in from Transfer Market, so that's wrong. Transfer Market just haven't updated it yet. Sarachi was back at the weekend, so he's fine, I think. So obviously get Liam Scales, Virgil van Dijk there. Not a big surprise there. I think, high projection against Sunderland, Trusty, Tierney. Murillo was out at the weekend. So that's an interesting one to see. Obviously Trippy is out. Loose Hall's definitely, I think, somebody people should be looking at. Usually takes sets, things for Newcastle as well, so he could be back in the reckoning. He's had an injury, so he may well be rotated a bit at the moment, but there we go. Bruno Fernandes, if you've got a Bruno, I've got a limited, fortunately. Alvaro Barreal's there, so it's quite a high projection. one to keep an eye out for on All-Star. And then Cunha, hopefully should be back. And there's Neymar with a high projection there as well. And Buemo with a sneaky high projection. Not really been doing a lot of good scores recently, but yeah, I think that's a good fixture, obviously, against West Ham, who've been poor. And Daisen Maeda fancied to get a goal there as well. Mo Salah, yeah, just been pretty poor this season. Not like him, just not himself. Minty, pretty good. They're probably using Kizaridis at home as well. Been on poor form recently, but there we go. So, in terms of, I'm going to have a look at Premier League first, actually. So I went over Celtic in a lot of detail, obviously. So, I've got a D1 entry now, so that's good. So let's have a look at this. Obviously, Sorare's got its own built-in rating system now, so for the power ratings, etc., which is pretty interesting. So I don't know. I mean, I would say that Alisson's probably a better fixture at home against Sunderland than Petrovic or Jordan Pickford, but yeah, I guess it's a combination of last 15s and the like there. Alisson kind of been a bit in and out recently, so that's fair. You could go with a more outside shout and go with, like Lamens. So I've got some different options here. But Verbruggen actually starting to put in some better scores, which is quite nice to see as well. I think personally speaking, probably going to go quite sort of Liverpool, but I don't know. I mean, they've not been good at the back, right? Liverpool have been conceding a lot of goals, so I guess B is probably quite fair. I think I'm probably going to go for Petrovic, actually. You see, scores have been terrible, but yeah, sometimes you need a wee bit of a differential, right? I don't have Henderson, so I can't really go with the sort of matchup with Munoz, although that's a pretty good fixture against Burnley. Virgil's quite compelling. I think, at home, they usually boss the ball, so I think he's got to be quite compelling. I think Bruno Fernandes definitely got to be in there. So Bozzlai, I think, is just a must pick at the moment as well. His scoring is so good. Plays in all these different positions. Average really good. Takes sets. And then I think for a final selection, yeah, it would be good to try and get the bonus. I'm not going to make the cap, but it'd be good to try and get the bonus. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Brian and Buemo, actually. Oh, it's wrong. I do think that Emblemo at home is pretty good against West Ham. Captain-wise, I think it's got to be Bruno Fernandes. I just think, guy's just a beast. So I guess I could go with Alisson in there, but now I'm getting the extra 2%. Really been put off Pickford there after they get there led to go. But I think that's a very, very strong team. D1, percentages-wise, I don't think I'll be able to win it, but all A rating fixtures, and yeah, you just never know really. So obviously a lot of those guys are quite expensive, but for Bournemouth, for example, you could go for I bought Truffer earlier. He's been really good. Let's go for an R selection anyway. Hit number 1 in the hot streaks, so might actually go a wee outside one and go for Bart Verbruggen actually. The Lamens at home is pretty interesting too. I think he's underrated in terms of obviously a really poor average. I get that. Senesi is suspended. I think for team 2, I'm probably going to go with Munoz actually, because I think against Burnley that's a pretty good fixture. And then midfield wise, starting to get a bit more difficult. Enzo Lafie, he's been really good actually recently. I think he's taking the pens as well. So I'm starting to get a bit short on options here. I do have guys like Rodrigo, etc., but he's injured. Anton Stack should be back soon, I think. Gravenberch, I think, pretty good this season. It's good for a goal here and there. Obviously, can mix in Saka shirt numbers. That's a really nice card. Gakpo, actually, could go in here too. I think that's probably a pretty good at home. I think Gakpo's quite a good option as well. So a couple of quite nice, strong selection. I definitely think with the ratings actually, Gakpo is a good captain choice. Obviously, I could have him in this team as well, but I think Szoboszlai taking the majority of the sets. If he goes big, Bruno Fernandes goes big. I think Buemo fancy him get a go home as well. Bit controversial, maybe leaving out Alisson here, but I don't have the best XP on all Liverpool guys, so if I just go with the obvious, then might restrict my chances of actually getting that big win, seeing Liverpool down in the Division 3, and then obviously this one's coming up to Division 2, so it's good to get a D1 entry, which is nice, I suppose, for a change. So in terms of what I'm going to do with Challenger, so I think like it does make sense. I've still got 2 D1 entries, so that's good. Let's see what actually the best suggested lineup is. So yeah, suggested lineup thinks it's going to be mainly Celtic with a bit of Kazarides in there, which is quite interesting. So don't know if I'm going to actually do that. I guess the lineup's taking into account that Negren might not start as well, so that's an interesting one. I'll probably split them up. I think I'll probably go with a sort of Hearts stack. I think even in rare, like I actually do have so I've got 2 D1 entries, which is quite good as it stands. I think there's still some games tonight, so I'll need to check this later. So I'm not going to do the selections just now, see what it selects for me in this as well. So yeah, similar. Well, that makes a lot of sense actually. But then I do have Swallow, Harry Milne. Probably going to use Milne actually, because again he takes some sets for Hearts, so he's a guy I think who is really quite cheap at the moment and limited, etc. I think quite cheap's probably understatement. Very cheap, I think. Couple of quid, which is not bad at all. Yeah, so even the rares been going for about 13 quid, which is mad for a rare. He's averaging 56, right? I mean, obviously there have been quite a few buys for midweek, so his instant buy now is up to 7 quid, and a lot of people will have unlisted, but you can still get him for about 5 or 6 quid. I think that's pretty good value considering these scores. Really not too bad at all. Anyways, on that note, we won't be spending too much time talking about Hearts, but yeah, they do have a good fixture in Challenger. So hopefully you found that helpful. Run through it, English Premier League, obviously Challenger as well, some guys for All-Star. I'm sure everybody will know Neymar, but I forgot about him at the weekend and he'd done 100. So yeah, I mean, he'll not be that expensive, I don't think, these days, coming towards the end of the season, and a good one to have overall, even if he has only got sort of one leg at the moment. But anyways, do appreciate everybody watching again. We're back for some rewards video action tomorrow night. We'll draw the Elia Mariba draw as well. And thanks again for watching. Good luck and go fuck.